Alright, hi guys, welcome back to the new edition. And as you guys know, that every weekend like this, we always go for long bet. That is tips that we involve games on Saturday and on Sunday. So, in this edition, we are going to look into games that are highly expected to end up as both team to score. All right, so there are ways that we do use to extract out most of our games when it comes to both teams to score. And of recent, I noticed that the consistency of some big teams is has not been okay of recent. In the last game for Real Madrid, they actually lost their game, and who knows, maybe the match will actually end up as a straight draw, or the match will end up as maybe Celta Celta Vigo winning Real Madrid. All right, so in this particular edition, we are going to look into games that are highly expected to end up as both teams to score. So most times, if I want to generate my games, I always make use of this bet my machine. And for people that are just coming across this our video on how we mine out some both team to score, this app happens to be called bet mine, and this happens to be the steps that I do use to extract the games out. So the first thing that I always do is that I always select the market, which is bottom to score, as you guys can see. And after selecting the market, I always select the days. And after the days, I don't care about the leagues, any leagues. And the total numbers of matches that I want to look into, I always make sure it is 20. And after that, I always set the odd range from 1.0 to 1.6. And the reason behind that is just that for this app, for this system, any odd that is around 1.0 to 1.6 is regarded as safe tips. So the system will only generate safe tips for me. And if you like, you can actually make use of the probabilities interval. So this probabilities interval, I always make use of it on games that always produce low odds, maybe double chance, or maybe over 1.5 goals, half time over 0.5 goals, and then you search. But if you have joined their premium version, there is probability that they will not really show you ads. But if you are using their platform on regular package, there is high probability that they will annoy you with relevant ads and annoying ads. So you have to choose one. Already I generated some games using this process, so I'm going to reveal it to you guys for Saturday and Sunday. All right, so for Saturday games, I already generated some games that I want to predict as both team to score, and the first one happens to be under the Australia League. And this particular match actually has moderate risk when it comes to the expected outcome. So Newcastle Jets against Western Sydney. So another match that I want us to look into is the match under the German league. That is Offenheim youth league, youth team. That is German third league. This particular game, we should be expecting it to end up as both teams to score a total of 1.4 for odd. So another game that I want us to look into is this particular game, Sparkenburg. This game, I want us to look into it as a both team to score at sort of 1.49 odd. And another game that I want us to look into is the match under the Turkish league. That is the match between Galatasaray and Besiktas. Let's look at it as both team to score at odd of 1.50 odd. And lastly, for Saturday, I have this match under the Poland league. Let's expect the match to also end up as both team to score. All right, so this happens to be all the games as we are going to look into for Saturday, just 6 games. All right, so moving forward, we are going to look into some of the games that we have on Sunday, and let's see if we can actually get a reasonable odds from these long bets. All right, now so for Sunday games, we are going to look into some of the games that we have on the list, and the number one of it happens to be under the USA Major League. That is Columbus Crew against Chicago Fire. So the odd for the both teams to score is 1.44 odds. And another game that I want us to look into is the match still under the USA major league. That is Portland Timbers against Vancouver White. The odd for the both teams to score is 1.53 odd. And we have three more games to look into. So another one that we have is under the Netherlands League. That is the Graafschap. Let's expect both teams to score for this particular game. And another one that I have is under the Switzerland Super League. That's Saint Gallen against Basel. The odd for the both teams to score is 1.40. And lastly, the match that we have under the German Third League, Ingolstadt against Val. So this match is also expected to end up as both teams to score. So the next thing that I will be doing now is that I'll be accumulating most of these particular fixtures on our bet platform. So let's see the odds that we are going to generate with all these games. All right, now so let's start with some of the Saturday games that we have on the list. So the first one is under the Australia League. So the both team to score for this platform is 1.34 odds, very low here. And another one that we have is under the German Third League. That is Offenham Youth Team against Rotwest. So this match is also expected to end up as both team to score. And we have another one under the Netherlands League. So that is a Spakenburg. So that is 1.48 odds. And we have another one under the Turkish Super League. Against Besiktas against Galatasaray. That is 1.51 odds. And lastly, we have another one under the Poland League. Under the Poland League. So we have it here, 1.47 odd. Alright, so that's all for Saturday, just 5 games. And we are going to look into games that we have on Sunday. We have just 5 games on Sunday to also look into, just 10 games long bets. So let's see what you can actually accumulate with these 10 games. Alright, so on Sunday, the first game that we have is under the USA MLS League. That is Columbus Crew against Chicago Fire. So we have the odd at 1.50 odd. So Portland Timbers 1.58 odd for the both teams to score. So moving forward to Netherlands League. We have Graafschap. So the odd for Graafschap to end up as both teams to score is 1.41 odds. Now moving on to Switzerland League. Alright, so for the booking code, I'm going to drop the booking code before the end of this particular video. So please kindly make sure that you don't skip the booking code. Alright, so the last game that we have is under the German Third League. So the odd for that is 1.42 odd. Alright, so with just 10 games weekend long bet, we are able to accumulate 43 odds. 43 odds this time around. So make sure that you bet responsibly and make sure that you don't skip the booking code. The booking code will be embedded on within this particular video before the end of the video. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. You can actually join any of our group link in the comment section and also in the video description. You can join our private class for more knowledge or more tutorial on some of our prompts, and you can also join our private circle group for more daily updates and our Telegram platform. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.